All right, guys, full stack for final assignment, right? It's going to be based on a timer. It's going to be due next Monday, 21st, 1 a.m. So same deal, percentage wise, and I'll just demo this for you quickly. So as we said, we want to build a single page application using React. There will be no backend. It's going to focus on HTML5, CSS, JavaScript with React framework. It's going to run Node using create React app to kick it off. Based on the timer in full stack 2, if you don't remember what that looks like, take a look. We'll be building towards it. So I'm just going to go through the stages that I went through. Again, you guys, you can either build it from the inside out, taking that code that I provided, I believe, on Git and working with it, or I built it from scratch, and I'll take you through that. So how I did it, stage 1 is I just created an initial timer component. So I created I created the app with create React app, and then I created a class component called timer. Inherit from create React app. You set up some state for start time, duration, and really kind of basically set up the initial kind of JSX, and then import timer into the main file, app.js, and modify it to include the timer and render it. So mine looked like, as initially it just looked like this. So it really doesn't do much. It's, this is a React app, and these buttons don't work. I don't know, tried to timestamp current time. I was just getting that clock thing set up, and that's how I set that up. So, right, I just created, a component called timer, and I hooked it up into my app.js, and then of course, when you run it, it should all at least render. So that was step 1. Step 2 was, all right, let's take that same control, let's add some state to it, let's add some event handlers. So we wanted to have event handlers for start, stop, reset button. Obviously want to handle each one of those, and modify the corresponding times, start time and end time and state. Reset them all. I mentioned null or empty string. You might need to play around with those depending on what's happening. So again, you can see when I click start, obviously there's a handler. I'm taking control of this input control. I'm setting the value. I click stop, same deal. I'm setting the value internally, and obviously when I click reset, it clears those out. It's up to you whether you want to track it in console. I believe I may have tracked it as well. I don't know why I don't have some. So it's giving me some warnings here, right? But really, when you click start, click stop, click reset, same deal, right? So I have handlers on them all. Internally, there's state going on in there. So I mean, look at any component we've done, you should be able to understand what state is and how to update it. And setting up event handlers and taking control of these input boxes, right? And all that. So that was 25%. And then next was try to build the duration and log items to keep track of the difference of the time. Now remember, we had code that does the calculation for you. You could look at mine, you could reuse it right from scratch, whatever you want to do. The whole point is we want to get a log of these durations just to have a history of it. So obviously we need to go about it. We need to add a new state value for that timer log. I said you could use an array. Again, it's a different approach from how we did it in full stack 2, right? We had to manipulate the DOM and we had to do a lot more things here. Now we can use the virtual DOM to update. Every time we add to it, it'll update and re-render, which is great. But a different way of thinking, right? In the stop handler, we're going to have to calculate that duration. To do that, either use that function or add your own. Add new functional component named log item that basically just renders that calculated duration as a prop. It has its own JSX, and then obviously you're going to import that as a child control or just another control that you're going to use to output. So this what stage was that? That was stage 3. So stage 3, I mean, I can show you the component. I'm not going to show you the syntax, but you know, you have a timer here. You have your log item. You're going to put your log item inside a timer, and you're going to call it. You're going to use it to render. So you can see now. I was going to say this the style changed, but it didn't. I had the panel open, but same deal, right? So when I click stop start, it'll add it. You see, I used like I put the plumbing in. I used like a list, unordered list with a list item. I'm going to add styling later. This is how I went about it, right? And as I'm just adding another list item. Count for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So 4 seconds, right? When I click reset, it clears everything. So, and that's using the child control, right? The child control will render the difference here, the calculated difference. And I wrapped it in an ordered list. However you want to go about it, you could do table row or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you want it to look like that finished result. And that was my step 3, how I got through stage 3. And then I said add a clock component. Now we saw this somewhere, and you look back at some of the examples, you'll see this already done. There's a twist to it. Twist to it is now, instead of it automatically running when it renders, it needs to be controlled by a flag. You know, if you're like a is started, whatever kind of flag is running, whatever you want to call it, you know, when you click start, it'll toggle on and off, right? So it's not going to constantly be running. So that's another component. So if you looked at my component list, and components, I have 3 now. I have timer, which is the main one, log item, which displays the duration, and now we have this running clock. What that looks like is when I click start, you can just see it running there. When I click stop, I made it go away. You could leave it there running, whatever you want to do there. Really, I thought it would be better if it stops the calculation. Really, what we're after is that. But the main thing is that it's handled by a toggle, right? Like it's not running in the background. It's cleared out. It's cleared out. It's not there anymore until I click start again, right? Stop. In fact, if I click start, stop, right? So that's the thing. That was the main thing. Now let me see here. I go stop. If I reset it, did I clear it out? No, I didn't. I stopped it. So actually, that's a bug on mine. If I click reset, I should probably reset this interval as well. I just caught my own bug there. So right, stop, reset. So maybe you could handle that a little nicer. So the main thing is it's running. It's running on the start. It's on stop. It's clearing it out. It's not running in the background. So that is step number 4, and then it's 10%, so it's smaller, right? And then obviously adding all the CSS that's already done from full stack 2, and just you might have to tweak your index.html. You might have to tweak some of the class components. You might have to tweak some of them, add missing HTML. Maybe you might have to jig some things, add some different kind of styles, especially around the clock, because you may not have it. So what that looks like now, I just add the style to it, right? So I add the style. It's the same thing as we remember. It is the same app, but I maybe had to change some things around a little bit. So I'm clicking start now. You can see I added some other styling to this font size. I'm clicking stop. Does the same thing. It's logging this duration as we remember. Start, stop. So it's building this list out. When I click reset, clears the whole form again. So this is kind of where we were at when we finished full stack 2, or your initial starter code will look like this. Right, so that was stage 5, 10%. That can be a little tricky. So the demo is, I'll have to put that link in, or just update this, or put it in the channel, whatever way I'll put it to, I'll upload it, put it on YouTube. And yeah, I said there's some sample code if you want to use it. That was the solution to, or one possible solution to full stack 2. I believe lab test when we did it. Submission. Oh, and I also probably put a bonus mark. So the bonus mark is if you can, in that clock component, rewrite it as a challenge into a functional component. I believe most of the examples were as a class. Use those hooks. Use state, use effect. Yeah, let's see what we can do. So you can add that. So really, the main thing is it'll be on Blackboard, as we know. Zip it up this time with your name in it, please. It helps me greatly. Even if you have a partner, if I see it in the download, it's much greater. It saves me a bit of steps. Plus, include into your README as well the names of the students, member of the team. But actually, if you put it in the file, I know right away. And then here's the mark breakdown. Hopefully, it adds up to 100. 50, 60, yes, 100, right? So clean code. From feedback, you probably know what that means by now. And like I said, that's due next Monday. We want to try to get it in. Don't make it too late. To be honest, like some people hand in things a day or two behind, but like I'm telling you, the marks are due. They want them due by noon on Tuesday. It's gonna be tight for me, but I'll let you guys go at least to this far. All right. So good luck with that, and good luck with the rest of the course. And we'll talk to you when I see you. All right. Okay. Bye.